Yes, because you're thinking and believing and practicing something different in those areas, whether you realize it or not, than you are practicing in the areas where we seem to struggle again and again and again. One problem, a belief that we are separate from God. Now the big truth with a capital T, you could not be separate from God, but because we have free will, because we have choice, Ernest Holmes says in the textbook that, God didn't create us to, well, now I'm really paraphrasing, okay? But if Ernest were here, I really believe this is what he'd say. That God didn't make us to be puppets, that God wanted a spontaneous being that could evolve. So we live life, we look and see what our results are, we make a choice, then we make a better choice, we learn from our experience, we make yet a better choice, we see how that's working for us, we look at our experience, we make a different and better choice, hopefully, because this is how we evolve spiritually. This is part of how we evolve. One problem, we believe we're separate from God. One solution, to know our oneness with God, to really feel and cultivate and be a place where that presence lives in us and comes forth into expression in our lives. I believe that there's always been a calling in our soul. It was there before we came in, before we checked into this hotel. There was a calling in our soul. Now, the calling in your soul, I'm just going to save a lot of time here. It's not your job, okay? Now, and that could be part of it, okay, in some cases. But it's about what you really, in the big picture, came here to express. It's about what you came here to be. It's about what you came here to give into the world. That's your soul's calling. All right? And all of us, I understand, at different points in the process of living our life, we get off track. We get distracted. We get caught up in other things, and then we're told you got to get serious. You got to be serious about life. Life is serious business, right? People say stuff like that, and then we think, oh my God, I got to survive. I've got to survive. How am I going to survive? And so we come up with some kind of like a strategy, like, well, I've got to pretend it's all okay. Even though I know it's not okay, I'm going to pretend over it, and everybody will think I look good, and they'll think I have it all together here, and I'm clearly doing my soul's purpose because I look good, right? Deep down, I know I'm not doing what my soul came here to do. So if you don't think you have much of an inkling on this, then we start with something very simple. On a daily basis, Spirit, what am I here to do? Show me, what am I here to give? I am willing. I surrender my notions of what I thought I was here to do. See, this whole surrender thing really freaks people out. Just all we have to do is mention the word, and people start twitching, They do. They start getting really weird about surrender because we have this crazy notion that God wants to control us, And God does not want to control us. Truly. Think about it. God being God, and all of us being emanations of the divine presence, if God wanted to control us, wouldn't that kind of been wired into the design? Or wouldn't there at some point be like an upgrade? Like, humans 2.0? But no, that God does not seek to control us. The infinite presence seeks to fulfill us. Now, why would we be afraid of being fulfilled? Well, I don't know. I've never been fulfilled. It's not like anything like I like. But so we hang on to this notion of, I could not possibly surrender because God's going to make me want to do things I don't want to do. And it's like, really, God being God, God already has other people who like to do those things. God doesn't need you to do, God wants you to do what would be the biggest expression of the life and love and creative essence within you. That's all. God wants you to be fulfilled. People say, well, but the conditions aren't right now. Don't wait. There's that saying about, people who wait for, there are people who wait for conditions, and there are people who make the conditions right. We need to be the people who make the conditions right now. And I understand there is grit from the journey.